Welcome to everyone in the chat room, and especially welcome to Alex. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing great, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Over to you, Alex.
Perfect. How do I build my community? There's a lot of different ways that people can build different kinds of community, but for the purpose of this discussion, I'm going to focus on building community in a sort of post-COVID environment where the majority of the community building is actually being done online, and how to sort of engage and grow your presence online, keep people interested, and build that connection. So the most important thing when building your community is to have the clear strategy. So before starting out and just posting things all over the internet and thinking, oh, I got to make 5 posts in one day and that's how to make sure that people are seeing me and everything, you want to make sure that you've crystallized exactly how you want to be approaching the community. What is your brand strategy, and how does that fit in with the community? Who are your targeted community members, and how you want to stylize and create your digital space? Because that's where people are going to be coming. That's where they're going to be connecting with you. And you want to make sure that you understand exactly what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve in that digital space. So that's the most important thing to have thought out before you even get started. You want to connect your different posts, and you want to have a theme across your pages. As I mentioned, you want that to be connected to your brand marketing and your brand guidelines. You want to think about things like having a color strategy. You want to think about the types of content you're going to post. It's important, before just launching into a space, to really think about what you as a business, what you want to bring there, and how you want to capture and grow that community. Because there's so many different avenues that you can take it. You want to make sure that you've thought that out and strategized that before you start. Your post should have a clear vibe, basically. You want, when you go to a really wonderfully curated page on Facebook or on Instagram especially, you can see that there's a lot of thought and focus put into the feeling, the sort of emotion that people get when they look at each post. So even though the subject matter of each post could be different, you want a feeling, a vibe to sort of pass through all of the posts. And before you start, you want to make sure that you've decided what that feeling is that you're going to create. You can test this out, and I'll talk about that in a few later slides. So it's not that you have to have one set one. It's definitely possible to change it up along the way, but it's important to have a goal and a focus and a strategy before getting started. Connected to that as well is especially on places like Instagram or Facebook, and also on LinkedIn, you want to also have a hashtag strategy. So by hashtag strategy, what I mean is, if you think about what we do, for example, or if you think about a shirt company, if you were just to type hashtag shirt, hashtag fashion at the bottom of your Instagram post, let's say, what that's going to do is try to add your post to some of the largest hashtags that are currently out there with the most amount of noise and the most amount of volume. And so your post is not going to stand out in that sort of loud cacophony that's going on. So what you would want to do is actually start with smaller, more niche hashtags, still related to your space, that people wouldn't have necessarily been focusing on, and there's not that same amount of volume. So if you're just getting started and you've only got, maybe 20 or 40 likes on your posts, you want to be targeting hashtags that still connect with your brand, of course, and what you're selling, but are much smaller in size. You're looking for hashtags with, a few thousand posts only. And that way, by posting using those hashtags, you can actually dominate that hashtag. So if someone is following that hashtag, you begin to fill up the post related to that hashtag, and that allows you to build notoriety without doing paid posts. It allows people who are outside of your immediate network to see the posts that you're doing, connect with them, and then consider following you. So it's important, not necessarily that I'm just focusing on hashtags right now, but it's important when you're approaching starting a community to have spent the time to outline and think about a clear strategy before you begin. Next, you want to make sure you can take the time to pick your channels. Again, this is mostly focusing on a digital space given the sort of post-COVID scenario, but channels, which is more of a digital term, you can still consider in a sort of post-COVID, after there's a vaccine and we've all quasi gone back to normal, and there's more physical events. So in that situation, it could be a monthly meetup event that you want to have, or a sign in front of your store, or anything like that. These are all channels of marketing that you can use. So when you've decided your strategy and how you want to approach and create a community, what you want to build that community around, the next thing is to pick and choose the right channels to focus on. If what you're creating is a consumer product that's really stylized and beautiful and sort of aspirational, sounds like Instagram is the perfect place for that. You don't necessarily want to be trying to create your channel on LinkedIn, because that site is a different kind of fit for your product. So you want to think about the channels where your consumer might be. Things like TikTok or even Reddit, which are a bit more niche. You still want to consider those and see different ways that those can intersect with your brand and how you can use them effectively to sort of expand your reach and gather more community there. But you also want to think about, again, yes, where are your users located, but where do you feel the most comfortable? Because at the end of the day, when you're starting out, you're usually going to be doing the marketing yourself. Before you have an extensive marketing team and social media experts, you'll probably be the one crafting the posts, responding to comments, and doing this initial community building. And so you want to pick a channel that you resonate with and you feel the best operating on, so that it feels really natural to use that. That's definitely something that I would recommend. The next important area is consistency. So once you've decided, what your holistic strategy is and how you want to be reaching out and targeting the consumers and where you want to be building your community, and you've decided the channels that you're going to be doing this on, a really important thing on any digital channel is to focus on consistency. You want to basically educate your followers with how frequently and how often you're going to post, and you want to give them that schedule so they can get into a bit of a rhythm with you and your content. You don't want to suddenly have a blast of posts, because you went to 3 events in a row, and so you've got 15 posts about those events, and then it's a bit of radio silence for 2 weeks, because essentially that'll spam their feed with your content, and then the algorithm will realize this is too much, and then it'll throw it out, and then there won't be any content from you, so then they won't bother promoting it anymore to the individuals who are following you. It's too hard to try to navigate and memorize the way the algorithm works. They change it all the time. Nobody really knows how it works. But what's critical is consistency to fit well in that algorithm and get your posts basically promoted for free by whatever channel you're on. It doesn't have to be every day, though. A lot of people think about, oh, I need to post every day. I need to post twice a day. A lot of larger brands that have extensive teams will definitely try to post 2-3 times a day and be just generating a lot of content. But it's better to pick a schedule that is manageable, where you feel you can, consistently meet that timing requirement, and it's not adding obscene amounts of additional stress to you and your marketing team. So if you're just getting started, I would say aim for 3 times a week. Even if you're editing the post yourself in Canva and doing all this work, even though that's a lot of work, 3 times a week is still consistent enough that people will see what you're up to and feel connected. But it's hopefully not so much that it can be overwhelming for you. The next important thing to keep in mind, and this, Craig, I'm sure you agree with me, I can't say this enough, quality over quantity is really important. Craig is an expert, so he can make tons and tons of content all the time that's really quality. And so that's fantastic for him. But I wouldn't, even though you can feel that draw to posting, 2 or 3 times a day, if that's going to result in a lower quality of posts, I would definitely step back from that and really focus on really great posts that fit well and really connect with all the things that we talked about on the first slide regarding strategy. So you want it to be fitting with your color palette, your brand feel, and your vibe. You also want there to be a bit of a deeper reason. It's not that you need to be sort of emotional or reflective in every post. That's not what I mean. But you don't want to post just for the sake of posting. The goal would be to have your posts really have meaning and value. So when somebody looks at it, they feel the connection to your brand because it's connecting with all the other posts that your brand does. You've got the color palette, and the post is adding something to your viewer, your consumer, the individual you're trying to invite to your community. You want them to, whether it's a funny post or an insightful post or something, you want them to connect and get some value from that post. If you're great at memes, just post really great memes and have them branded in a way that connects with the company. There's one company, I won't necessarily name them, but there's one company that I know in my network who posts very funny edited photos. They sell a consumer goods product, and it's essentially their products talking to each other and doing kind of funny, silly things. And they have the same color palette, and it's the same type of post, every 2 days. And it's just a really funny post to see. It makes me feel good and reminds me of, why I started following them in the first place. So keeping that quality and that why is important with all of your posts, even if that means you're posting less. The next area of focus that I would talk about is the value of teaching your followers how to engage with you. So if you have, you've grown your channel, you've got 10,000 followers, and that's fantastic, and you're not really seeing any engagement, and you're wondering why that is. You got 10,000 followers, but you don't have that many likes on each post, and nobody's commenting. It's really about teaching those followers and engaging with them the same way that you want them to engage with you. If you're following a page and that page, comes and likes some of your posts and responds to your comment, it's going to begin building that relationship where it feels more like you as a consumer are actually getting to know this brand. The brand seems more open and authentic and sort of like a real person. And so you want to do that with your followers, with the people in your community. You want to provide that education. So if somebody is liking your posts or liking your comments, then you want to make sure that you're liking when they comment. You want to go to their page. And I'm not necessarily recommending doing the follow to get their attention and then wait a little while and unfollow. That strategy can grow your followers in the shorter period of time, but it can potentially on the industry leave a bit of a bad taste in your mouth. And you want to make sure that you as a company don't have only 50 followers, but you're following 5,000 people. So I'm not necessarily recommending the follow for follow strategy, but definitely for people who are following you, go to their page without necessarily following them, engage with them, comment on their posts, like the things that they're up to, show them that you're interested in this two-way dialogue, and that will show them and encourage them to engage and dialogue back with you. You'll get much more engagement on your comments and much more connection with them. Also, of course, make sure you're responding to your DMs. And anytime someone is reaching out to you, you want them to be rewarded, not monetarily or with a gift or anything, but you want them to feel rewarded and acknowledged for reaching out to you so that they're encouraged to do that again. You don't necessarily want to push the sale or, anything like that right away. You want to use this as an opportunity to actually build a realistic relationship with your brand where they're starting to like what you're doing. They're liking you. They're appreciating that. And then eventually when the time does come for the sale, they already feel like they've gotten so much intrinsic value from following you and being a member of your community at whatever level it is that they want to make the sale without you asking for it. Next, another area that's important is brand awareness and using different types of marketing to broaden your brand awareness. So if you're trying to grow your community, doing it organically is always great. It's one of the cheapest ways to do it, and you will really get followers who do care about your brand. But one way to accelerate that growth is through marketing and different ads that you can run. There's two different types, specifically to do with social media. There's two different types of basically paid ads that you can run. One is creating a new ad entirely from scratch. And another is boosting an existing post where basically you pay money and Facebook will go and show that post to more individuals who are whoever you target. So this can be a very effective way to broaden the number of people who are being exposed to your content, your posts, and your page, and can be a great way to find similar like-minded individuals and encourage them to engage and follow your page. But it can be expensive running ads in this way. Test it out. Try it for your page, for your community. I recommend trying, $20 or $40 for just a few days, picking your most liked, your most engaged post, and boost that for $20 or $40 just to see how much additional engagement you can get. And you can focus the campaign specifically on different goals. So I'm not sure if you've all done marketing on Instagram or Facebook before, but when you do market something, you can choose the purpose of the campaign. So with this, you would be going for engagement. So you'd be looking for more page likes or likes on your post. And this can really help grow the number of likes and the number of people who are exposed to your content. So definitely using the paid options to grow your community and the access you have to people who would be interested in your community are definitely things to consider as well. So next is tying back to that section on educating your community, but it's really about listening to your community. There's so much data that we get now, especially using a digital community. You can get this as well from any sort of physical marketing that you're doing or events that you're running based on attendance or everything. But in terms of with digital communities and digital marketing and digital posting, there's so much data that we as companies and brand managers have access to help us learn about our community and what they're looking for. So in your comments, in your DMs, you want to actually listen to what people are saying, pay attention to that, and see what feedback they're giving you. That can be a great place to see the direction that they want you to take your content. You can also ask them directly. If there's someone who you notice is continuously engaging, continuously commenting, who really does like what you're posting, send them a DM and say, we're loving your support. Thank you so much for being part of our community. What can we do that will continue to keep you engaged? What kind of stuff would you like to see from us? Listen to the community and respect them. You could also, besides listening to their physical written comments, you could also listen to them based on their engagement from the data. So how many followers are you getting after certain posts? Which posts are being liked the most? Which posts are getting the most comments? Are the comments engaging, or are they just rocket emojis posted by bots? This sort of information is really critical and helpful when determining what direction you should be taking your content and where you need to be going in the future. So pay attention to that and where people are engaging and which posts are getting the most engagement, and then try to do more of posts of that style and of that nature. You can even use this to learn the differences between preferred color schemes, the preferred style and content of your language, and everything like that. So make sure to listen to your community for sure. The next is about the value of A/B testing. So just to go over at a high level, A/B testing is a marketing technique where you run two or more ads targeting the same individuals, and you only are changing one factor across all of the ads. So essentially, you've got one ad talking about your new type of drink, and the same group of people are targeted with this ad, but you run 7 different ads targeting that same group, and the only thing that's different is the color of the background across all the pictures. And then from the results of this micro ad test, you can see very quickly, okay, everybody really liked the very bright color background. They liked the yellow, they liked the red. Nobody really engaged with the purple or the dark blue. So this is a manner where you can really refine and learn specific details from the data of people engaging with your posts. Just like the listening that we've just talked about, A/B testing is an even deeper, more detailed way where you can essentially be mining your engagement on social media to improve your understanding of subgroups of your community and what type of content they'd like to receive. If you're targeting 2 different demographics, you have one demographic which are, women who live in cities, and one demographic that are, retiring couples living in small towns. You can do separate A/B testings on each, and you can figure out the differences between those portions of your community and really refine the types of posts and also ads that you direct to those individuals. This sort of learning really helps elevate and improve the volume and the quantity that you can apply to your posts and your marketing, so that going forward, you'll get more engagement and more sales conversions. I recommend doing A/B testing with really small budgets. No, that's fine, Craig. We can go to the lookalike slide. So lookalike audiences are also very important. Once you've started to get your community into a sort of decent size with your organic posting, you've been growing quite well, you've done a little bit of promoted posts every once in a while. Once you have over 1,000 followers or an email list with over 1,000 users, you can use a specific marketing feature on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn called Lookalike Audiences. Essentially, they find individuals who aren't following you, who have the same type of characteristics as people who do follow you, and you can target those people. Essentially, those are very low-hanging fruit of individuals who might be interested in your type of content. So if we combine, your great organic content and use of hashtags with A/B testing marketing done on lookalike audiences, where you're listening to the engagement of the community and doing all this refining, you can really sort of build almost a machine that slowly over time is just really growing and growing your community engagement. So this is it's really useful tool to use the lookalike audiences when targeting additional ad spend. Oh, can we grab the, perfect. Nope, yeah, sorry. When remarketing, and what is remarketing? So remarketing is essentially targeting ads at existing people who have already engaged with your content. So now you've built your community and it's getting stronger, and you either have individuals who are liking and engaging with your posts but haven't followed you, or you have followers in your community who are engaging and now you want to move them towards that sale. Remarketing is a really powerful tool that you can use in this scenario. So to begin, basically remarketing is targeting people who have already seen your ads with new ads that are specifically focused and addressing the fact that these individuals have already seen your ads. Before you even start doing that, there is some analytical tools that you should set up. So you need to install a Facebook pixel, for example, if you're going to be using Facebook or Instagram ads, but you want to make sure that you've installed any technology add-ins that can allow you to capture and handle and find these individuals and gather this data. Once it's in place, you want to create ads specifically written and targeted to try to speak to pain points of individuals who might be already engaging with your content, or involved in your community, but haven't yet converted to a sale. So because you know how they're already engaging, you know that they're involved, you can speak to them differently than someone who has never engaged with your content before and you're reaching out to for the first time. You want to make sure that they're really crafted and still fit with your brand imagery, but provide incentives for those individuals to engage with you at that next level, which is important. So definitely look at remarketing once you've sort of grown that stage of your community and you're ready, you have the volume, and now you can begin targeting and converting for a sale. And then next, we talk about giveaways. So again, still in the digital marketing space, this is an example of a creative tactic that you can use to try to gather a large number of additional followers who aren't as targeted towards your brand in a short period of time. Giveaways are not for everyone, and so I wouldn't necessarily recommend that everyone do giveaways. It's definitely a very specific, potentially niche product, but it can work quite well in certain scenarios. So it's just an example for you to consider. But essentially, a giveaway is when you offer a single free product that will be given to one of the individuals that complete a series of tasks. So generally, you would ask people to follow your page. You'd ask them to like the post, comment on the post, and tag a friend or tag 3 friends. And essentially, you use that combination to get engagement on the post already, have more people viewing the post because they're being tagged in it, and converting those people who participate into followers, at least for the short term, of your page and your brand. So giveaways aren't necessarily attracting people who are really excited about your content as much as organic growth would, but it does give you a potential to really boost your followers in a shorter period of time without resulting to, fake bot followers or anything like that. With giveaways, you can do a range of values, but obviously the higher the value of the giveaway item, the more interest that you will get. It is useful if you're doing a giveaway to also boost the giveaway and advertise the giveaway post as well, so you can get even more eyes on the giveaway. You can also consider doing a co-sponsored giveaway where you and another page both come together to give away something to further grow your community access. However, as I mentioned, individuals who are coming and participating in the giveaway won't necessarily be individuals who are interested in your brand as much as someone who might come organically. This is a way to potentially get a bit more viewership and convert some of those people, but you won't necessarily always have the same conversion to followers over the long period of time that you would when just posting strong organic content. You also want to make sure if you do decide to use giveaways that you do so sparingly, because for individuals who are following your content because they like it, having that broken up by consistent giveaways can sometimes leave a bit of a sour taste in the mouth. So you want to make sure that if you do decide to use giveaways, it's done sparingly, and you try to pick a product that is still going to resonate with your existing followers or your existing community. If you're in a consumer goods product industry or something like that, it can be very useful providing giveaways because you already have a product that you're trying to get out to the audience and grow the community around that. And so potentially giving away your own product can convert to further sales in the long run. That essentially covers some of the top high-level tips for growing your community, specifically a digital community in a post-COVID world.
Thank you, everyone.